So the first attempt of recording the video, the starter video, and it started raining on me. So this is the walk back to the car. I walked deep too, so it's gonna be fun. I'm soaked already. Walking back to the rain, or walking back to the car in the rain. I have my notebook with all my scripts, and I literally have it wrapped in my shirt so it doesn't get soaked. To say it's not a good day would be an understatement. Welcome to Culture Overload, the first episode back of Culture Overload, to Culture Overload basically. And I've tried to record this video before, but as you can see from the clips, I got rained out. And then the second time, I recorded till the end. I recorded like a couple cuts, and at the end I was just tired of talking at that point, but I didn't like the version I ended up with, so I called it on that, and then I got sick until now. So here we go. Let's get into today's video, which, as a first video should be, it's going to be talking about what the channel is going to be all about moving forward, what to expect moving forward. And as you can tell, I'm outside in nature. I did find like a little quiet spot. There is still a trail behind me though, so first video, I'm not really used to recording out in public, so there are some nerves, and I do keep looking back. If I do look back a couple times, I don't cut it out. Don't mind me. And if you do hear some fish flopping, or if you do hear some splashes in the back, it's not like a fat kid belly flopping, it's just some fish flopping around, just because there's a lake behind you. But, oh yeah, let me little pan around. Little panel. A little random fort right, hold on, my shoulder's in the way. Fort right there. And a lake where fish keep flopping out, and they're gonna kill me. Oops. Okay, got it. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I kind of needed an excuse to get out of the house because we're in Canada and our winters are way too long to be trapped in the house in the summer. So need an excuse to get out, find a quiet little spot, and this is going to be my new outdoor studio. Welcome. But without further ado, let's actually get into the video. So, culture, if you don't know, Culture Overload actually, it was a long time thing. It's been since college, but it wasn't originally a YouTube channel. It was actually a podcast. And this podcast I originally started with a couple of my friends from high school. And as time goes on, life happens, people get busy, priorities shift, and my friends kind of dropped out. For me, as someone who's had multiple projects growing up, I've had a YouTube before, I've had a couple of little businesses. I noticed one common theme between those, and seeing actually like any success or any progress with those projects, was consistency. I wasn't consistent with them, and I started them, and I didn't see any rewards within like a short period of time, so I just dropped them. So for me, I was like, you know what, I'm getting older now, I need to be consistent with projects. So once my friends dropped out, I took the responsibility to keep the podcast going by myself. And things were going well for a little bit. I kind of kept it going just off of motivation, but then I started to not kind of lose a vision, lose kind of track of what I wanted to do with the podcast, and without seeing any rewards, I kind of fell off with that. So when I was researching to kind of relaunch, because I said I wanted to be consistent, I wanted to keep something going. When I was researching for relaunch, what genres to get into, how to formulate a proper podcast, this and that, I realized, I would need to. I don't listen to podcasts. I haven't really listened to a lot of podcasts growing up. I don't spend a lot of time listening to podcasts. So for me to do a podcast and not be a consumer of podcasts, it was much harder to shift into that, because I had to do a lot more learning. So I was thinking, I was like, I've grown up on YouTube. I've always watched YouTube. I've even done YouTube channels before. So I think it would make sense to just drop the podcast, move to YouTube. And I think the visual element also adds a little bit of, as much as I didn't want to show my face at first, I think the visual element adds more value in a way. You can do more with a visual element than just on a podcast, kind of like a radio. So that's it. That's kind of why we're here. This is what the Culture Overload channel is about, or why we're starting here. So what is it going to be about? The podcast was kind of all over the place. Talked about politics, talked about this, talked about that. What this podcast, or what this YouTube channel is going to be mostly focused on is self-development. And mainly self-development through, we're going through it together, not as someone like, I'm a fucking pro, guys, like, I learned this, take it from me. But no, I'm gonna, I've been through self-development, I've been through ups, and right now I'm at a fucking down, and I'm at a transitional period of my life where self-development is really important, and figuring out the right way to self-development is very important, and I want to kind of take you along that journey with me. So that's what this channel is going to be about. It's going to be a diary. Most other YouTubers, they've already been through it all. Over here, we're going to be going through it together, be reflecting on that journey. There's going to be challenges. I'm going to be down. I'm going to tell you about those. You don't see a lot of self-development YouTubers talk about or show you when they're struggling. But this is what this is going to be about. So that's going to be kind of the unique twist, that we're going to be going through a process together. I'm going to be reflecting, somewhat of a diary, and then I will still have some of those videos talking about some of the things I've already learned through this process that you can kind of reflect and take away from. But the focus is mostly going to be going on it together. Self-development obviously involves a lot of aspects of life, career, relationships, everything to make your life good, basically. So I think it's very important, and I think it's also an excuse for me. The YouTube is an excuse for me to hold myself accountable to this process, is that I have to go, because I have you guys that I have to report to, basically. So I think it's going to hold me more accountable, and that's another kind of purpose of this. Since we're going through this process together, I thought I would give you kind of an introduction to my self-development journey, like a quick synopsis of what I've been through, where I'm at right now, what the focus is going to be on self-development for me moving forward, and obviously what you're going to be learning from. So basically, my first encounter with self-development, realistically throughout high school I was kind of exposed to self-development, but I never really took it serious. For me, when I started taking self-development seriously, when I actually hit rock bottom and I started having some mental health issues. It was at a time I started waking up every morning just nauseous. And this was kind of like the start of college, kind of. I'd wake up, I'd feel nauseous, and I didn't know what it was. I went to the doctor, they did some tests, thought maybe it was a stomach issue, nothing. So the doctor's like, are you stressed? You going through some mental health shit? Figured out, I was skeptical of it, but then after kind of observing life, I noticed, when I had plans, when I had a presentation, when I had this, it would really flare up, and I would almost be to the point where I was throwing up. So I realized it was anxiety, and then I would obviously have suicidal thoughts, and it was at the point where I was like, deep down, going through depression, anxiety, life sucked. And I was basically like a deadbeat, I'd go to school, finish school, I wouldn't eat anything in the morning. My first meal would be after school at like 5, and it would be like a hot and ready, medium Little Caesars, and crush that whole thing by myself, and feel like absolute shit afterwards. After I crush that, I just get in bed, watch YouTube, fucking go on Tinder, fucking some shit, until I'm, the night's over, and then rinse and repeat until, I had a project due the next day where that day I would do some work, but same shit, rinse and repeat. Same thing with work. I would get off work, sit at home, shower, just lay in bed all day. And days off, I would be sleeping until 2. So I was at the deepest point in my life. I was like, this is bad. I was depressed and anxious as hell, very down bad. So then after that, I realized I got to do something about it. I had another event that really went down in my life, and then, after that, there was a switch that almost flipped in me. Like, I think it was kind of during when lockdowns were coming out, February-ish, a switch kind of flipped, and I was like, I realized there was a lot of things to self-development, you know. They tell you to meditate, they tell you to fix your sleep, they tell you to do this and that. And I realized that I knew what I needed to do, but I wasn't doing it. I was just, hoping I would just fix myself one day. So then I realized what the real issue was my self-discipline and, you know, my lack of action. I wasn't doing anything about feeling miserable. So that's when things started hitting hard. I went from 0 to 100, picked up habits. I was, you know, sleeping in. I went to waking up early, meditating, reading. I'd do work sessions, this and that. Things started going up. Progress, I started my detailing business, started progressing, started growing that thing. I started doing good in school, started figuring out, you know, better ways to organize myself. Stopped procrastinating as much. Things started turning out good until the fall hit and, you know, started going downhill again. Until the winter, you know, started feeling bad again. It was never as bad as before, like depressed, anxious type, you know, it was just self-doubt, you know, things of that nature, just negative self-talk in a way. And it was kind of topped off by a breakup with my girlfriend of 3 years at that time. So everything kind of came crashing down. I never really, you know, even though it came crashing down, I never let go of my habits, and I tried to just power through them. But after a moment, I realized that I was just on cruise. You know, I was doing these habits, but I don't think they were benefiting me. You know, I wasn't present. I wasn't there for these habits. So, you know, things started going down. You know, I was keeping up with my habits. I never got to as low as I was, but I also started noticing things going downhill with my life until, you know, where we are now. Things have just gradually started going down a little bit, but thankfully they've never gotten as bad as they were before. And I noticed, you know, there was something missing there. You know, I was still doing these things. Why am I not feeling, you know, as good? Why am I not progressing as much as I was before in life? And, you know, after that I realized one key thing was my presence was lacking. You know, when I was going through that self-development journey, the key thing was actually I didn't realize it, but I snapped into just being present and being in the moment. And that is such a key to progressing forward and just being focused on the moment, not worrying what the fuck in the future and the past, and just focus on now. What can I do now to better myself? And then two was that realization of self-development. You know, people think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna read, meditate, this, and that just, you know, self-development, woo, I'm gonna get better at life. But realistically, self-development isn't just checking off these things and just hoping for the best. You know, these are tools to help you progress towards your goals, your passions, your things, your visions. You know, self-development isn't just, you know, meditating just to meditate. It's meditating so you can be more present, so you can then be better in your business right now. So, and that's, I think, a lot of the trap that people fall into. They think, oh, I'm meditating, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this, but do you have a passion? Or is there a vision that you're applying this self-development to? Because after all, that's what the key of self-development is. It's these tools, you're learning these things that are going to help you achieve your goals. And that's what I, you know, fell off with. You know, my business, like I said, I'm kind of in a transition period right now. My detailing business, you know, obviously there's no future in detailing. My back's breaking. It's not a brain, you know, intensive business. And I fell out of love with it. So that was one passion gone. And, you know, with my other goal of being a developer that I haven't really talked about and being into real estate, I felt like I needed to get a job to build myself in that regard. and I've been struggling with that, so that has also been cut off. So I've been doing these things without, a goal to direct them towards. So that's where we're kind of at now. And this is kind of the wrap up. I hope to make it quick, so you know where I'm at right now, where we're moving forward. So right now, I'm still doing these habits, not as consistently as before. My sleep schedule's all over the place still. I'm unemployed, I'm broke. I recently graduated in November, and I've been looking for work ever since, but if you're probably in the same position, or you know someone in my position, you would know that it's an absolute pain in the ass. It was already a pain in the ass before, and now it's just double that. So things have been at a standstill. Like I said, that made me kind of fall out of love, or feel like my life was on hold. Broke. Just been looking for work, and then I'm falling out of love with my business, which I kind of want to transition out of. So that's where I am now. Recent grad, broke, living at his mom's house. And that's where we're going to be. This is the base point that we're going to be moving forward. So the goal is obviously get a job. But more directly, I actually thought of a new project that I'm going to be working on. And so basically, I'm in the architecture field. I said I want to be a developer. So part of that I'm going to be telling you about is a little project that I'm going to be working on, another YouTube channel that I'm going to be kind of making hypothetical projects to teach myself around that. So that's another thing you can stay tuned for. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. There's a couple things that I'm working on fixing right now, but you'll wait and see in the next couple of videos. So you'll see that soon, but a quick list of some things right now. I have to kind of read them off just because, come on, give me slack, it's the first video. So fixed sleep schedule, consistently working on job applications, or in my case right now it's networking and building. That's another thing, I haven't been social as much. Networking is a big thing for me, so that's another challenge that we're going to go through. Eating consistently. I'm on the bulk right now. I've always struggled gaining weight, so if you struggle gaining weight, welcome to the boat. Hopefully we can fix it together. Growing money, obviously, because I'm a broke as fuck right now, and I want to enjoy life. When you're broke, can't enjoy life. Figuring out a weekly schedule. This has been a pain, but I kind of want to figure out a weekly schedule that fits in all the habits, all the work that I need to do. Gym, this, that, life shit. So we're going to work on that together as well. Social, like I said, the networking for job work, but then I also want to grow my social circle as well. I think life's better with friends, so why not build some friends, build some brotherhoods, and, do it together. And then there's a couple of addictions that I'm kind of fighting through. We'll keep exposing them till I beat them, because I think that works a little bit better in my eyes. And finally, some other kind of little videos you might just see kind of for interest, and I want to tie them into self-development a little bit. Calisthenics obviously is exercise, so it's going to tie into it. I'm just starting calisthenics, so I'm a beginner, so I'll kind of be reflecting on the beginner journey as calisthenics, showing you how a beginner looks like when they do calisthenics, because it's a lot different from when these pros show you beginner workouts. So you can see what a common beginner mistake a common beginner does, or maybe see what it wouldn't make you feel as bad about yourself, maybe, in a way, okay? But gardening and then soccer, another couple things. But basically, yeah, I think this video has kind of been longer than I wanted it to be already, so I will wrap it up here. Hopefully you stay tuned, subscribe to this channel. New video coming out soon. The new videos I hope will be more entertaining than this. They're going to be a little more pizzazz, we'll say. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.